So you're looking to qualify as a chartered accountant, or you've just qualified and you want to know what other roles outside of accounting can you do? Well, then this is the video for you, because I'll be sharing, number one, my experience of being a chartered accountant and having worked in investment banks, big tech companies and accounting firms, the roles that I've seen chartered accountants actually end up working in. And number two, I'll be talking about why they end up working in those roles and why employees want chartered accountants for those positions. So to begin with, there's quite a few different chartered accounting qualifications out there, all respectfully great in their own way. Each demonstrates to the employer that you have in-depth knowledge of what makes a company successful and the regulations and structures that organizations need to allow them to exist. Moreover, each qualification requires a minimum number of work experience, averaging around 2 to 3 years, showing to employees that you not only have the theoretical knowledge, but you also have adequate real-life experience of working in an office environment and interacting with clients. These are the reasons why chartered accountants are highly sought after. And whilst it's impossible to mention every single job that an accountant could do, I'll be going over the most popular and suitable jobs to do after you qualify as a chartered accountant. So in a job as an equity research analyst, you'll ultimately be giving buy or sell decisions for a company after researching them and analyzing them in detail. You typically get given a specific sector or a company that you're responsible for, and when you work for one of the large investment banks or other large firms out there, you essentially become a celebrity in the finance world. You see, your research is highly valued by companies that are looking for help in terms of making their own investment decisions. And if you consistently make accurate decisions time after time, then the work that you do will be highly sought after. You'll get interviewed by financial newspapers, be writing sought after reports, and get asked to come on TV channels such as Bloomberg so that other people can listen to your viewpoints and have a good understanding of where the world is heading. Now, why is a chartered accountant going to be suitable for this role? Well, it's simple. To determine if a company is going to do well or not, you have to be able to understand the source of the information, their financial statements. And that is the skill chartered accountants possess and specialize in. It's the ability to look at the financial statements and dig deep to question and apply your professional skepticism in order to make an opinion. And that is why you'll often find equity research analyst roles specify under required skills to possess a chartered accounting qualification. One of the areas where chartered accountants might actually have to improve on is their document writing. It's going to be your reports where you'll be explaining what you've understood and what ultimately led you to make your decision on the future of the company. That being said, as a chartered accountant, you already possess 65 to 70% of the skills required to be an equity research analyst. And so this is a great transition for your next role after you've qualified as a chartered accountant. Now, unlike equity research analysts where you'll generally be looking at the same companies year in, year out, merger and acquisition analysts will be working on potential deals as they happen. So you'll always have a little more variation in that respect when it comes to your job roles. As an M&A analyst, you'll be doing a lot of the initial research for potential deals and gather industry information about opportunities, competitions, think SWOT analysis and Porter's 5 forces models. What you'll be doing adding value as a chartered accountant will be studying the financial reports and the operations that the company has. Again, having a detailed understanding of what works well and not so well in a company is where you'll be shining as a chartered accountant. You'll review the fundamentals via financial statements and create models based off that. It's the ability to see the entire company structure, which includes how the governance is managed, aspects of business law, and using your commercial acumen, which, along with your ability to review financial statements, makes this a great career move post-qualification. One thing to point out though is whilst an equity research analyst will tend to have extremely busy work periods during earning seasons where companies release their financial performances, an M&A analyst will be working on deals which can take years and years till completion. You'll be working extremely long hours and providing your justification with many negotiations happening on the deal outside of your control. And so there'll be several iterations and limitations of the work that you do. And so this is something to think about in terms of the job spec when it comes to an M&A analyst. However, being involved in multi-million-pound merger and acquisition deals allows you to receive a much higher bonus than you would get being an equity research analyst. So you do have that trade-off to think about when deciding which career path to follow. If you want to catch more videos about career progression, then make sure you give this video a like and then subscribe to the channel to make sure you're notified of when I release a new video. third job I want to discuss is a financial analyst. Now, a financial analyst looks at the past and current trends to help companies achieve future goals. They look at the bigger picture and use the work already produced by accountants, but add to it by overlaying current market trends, business objectives, and possible investment decisions for the companies to do. You'll spend hours looking over data to identify business opportunities, to make investment recommendations for the company overall. When it comes to being a financial analyst, you'll be speaking with company management and investors about their goals and ideas to understand what exactly they want for their company. And so this is a great role if you enjoy the interaction aspect with a varied group of people, often at very senior levels at different companies that you'll be working with on a day-to-day basis. To make these decisions, what you'll be doing is you'll be looking at financial ratios and interpreting financial statements, both of which, as you're probably aware, chartered accountants are well versed in. Typically, salary-wise, financial analysts would be at the lower of the three jobs that we've already talked about, but the salary is still very high. Normally, after 3 years of working as a financial analyst, you can comfortably be earning in the $150,000 range. Now, a product controller could be a different role at different organizations, but if I'm talking about product controllers at investment banks, then I'm referring to the finance function of the bank who validate the P&L that the trading team do. As a product controller, you'll eventually develop specialist knowledge on the products that you're supporting. And after working closely with the traders every single day is actually a very good and common way that I've seen that people network themselves into front office roles, especially at the trading desk. Now, being a product controller is probably one of the easiest ways for a chartered accountant to begin their career at an investment bank. You're not expected to have a thorough understanding of the products that you'll be reviewing every day, so don't worry about that, but you are expected to bring the professional skepticism that you've developed as a chartered accountant every single day at work. This is because your typical day as a product controller will be about validating the P&L that the traders make to make sure that it is true and fair. This is a very important function at the bank as it provides comfort for the investors and regulators that the P&L that is being reported by the bank is accurate. Now, even though you work for the same organization, you'll be an independent function from the trader, and so you need to act as such, just like you would when auditing a client. You'll need to be able to challenge the assumptions that traders use in their models and make sure that they know what they're doing when it comes to making trades. One point about this job, which I'm not going to hide, is whilst this job probably has the best work-life balance out of all of them that we've covered so far, it probably is the one most likely to be outsourced into regions outside of the major finance hubs, which is great if you're based in Eastern Europe or India, as that's where majority of the jobs will get transferred to, but not great if you're looking to apply for this role in one of the major financial capitals. Now, internal auditors and product controllers often have a very big overlap in the work that they do. Both are making sure that the trading team are reporting accurate data, but the scope of internal audit extends to internal controls, corporate governance, and accounting processes. Audit team make sure rules and regulations are followed and any issues are raised to senior management to make sure that they're corrected in a timely manner. It's pretty easy to see why chartered accountants are in high demand for this role. You're essentially using the skills that you've learned as an auditor to make sure the team or organization you work for is adhering to its own policies as well as external regulators. But what internal audit teams look for from chartered accountants is the ability to plan, conduct, and close out audits and provide adequate recommendations when it comes to those audit procedures. What's impressive about this line of business is you'll often actually have a chain of command all the way from your audit position to the CEO, and that shows the value and importance that internal audit has in every organization. Now, the last and definitely not by any means least important high-paying job that you can do after qualifying as a chartered accountant is a credit risk analyst. This is something I chose to pursue after I qualified, and is a great career where I use the skills that I gained from my qualification every single day in my role. But I won't talk about it here. I've already made a dedicated video about what the role is, credit risk interview questions, and the salary that you can expect as a credit risk analyst. If you want to see that video, I'll leave a link to that video at the end of this one. Make sure you click on it if you want to know more, and I'll see you all in the next video.